Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collective podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Dog.
Hi, welcome to TFYLP episode 448. We are live tonight on Monday, September 20th. I'm Lucas, or I guess I should say I'm late. And I'm here with Phil.
Hi, I'm here, and that's not my dog barking in the background. It's totally someone else's dog. I blame Rob.
Yes.
Rude.
What we'll see is like Rob's cats running across, barking. And Peter.
Forever Destron.
And Rob.
Meow.
Hey. So, apologies for being late, everyone. It had some things run over. So, you know, but we're here now. So,
deal with it.
yeah. So there we are. So, and
Here we are,
so
face to face, just a couple of silver spoons.
I don't know that reference.
I do, and Ricky Schroeder's a turd.
I mean,
I know there's a
the
TV
song
show.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
all right. I got us off track. Let's go.
We don't have a track.
yeah, so we don't really have a track anyway. So tonight's topic, we're gonna just be talking about kind of like how our collecting has been for the last year and whatnot. So I'm sure that we'll go off topic quite a bit, and whatnot. So it's getting close to TFCon time. That's going to be at the end of October here. So, but we still got, over a month to go, I guess. So yeah.
And on the TFCon note, if you were looking to buy a weekend pass, they have sold out. And so it's $55 or was $55 for the weekend pass. They still have day passes for Saturday and Sunday, which are $30 and $25 respectively. So it's like, oh, it's the same cost, but day passes don't let you in until noon. And even then they won't let you in until, depending on attendance, due to crowd limitations. So keep that in mind, folks.
There are people we know that are looking for indentured servants over the weekend. So if you're desperate, we can find you some work.
Yeah. Then
that's
you
how
won't
I'm planning
enjoy
on going.
The con, right? It'll be a different experience.
I'll be at Orson's booth if all goes to plan. So
Assuming he doesn't go to Canada with his toys.
I assume they're still there. I don't know.
I'm surprised. Did he get new inventory? Because I thought at the last show a couple years ago
Yeah.
he had sold out of most of it.
He sold what was left over to Nick, but I know he still has personal stuff he's selling.
I've been that guy at TFCon. It's kind of fun.
Which, ties into what I know, like you said, like Phil's been doing, and just in general collection, he's been downsizing a lot over the past few years, much like I have. I still buy plenty, and he still buys plenty too, right? But just selling off the excess and the stuff you cycled out.
That's why I always feel like it's like, well, you could either die collecting Transformers or live long enough to become a dealer.
I don't know how you are a collector and aren't, familiar with eBay after so many years. It's just like, it doesn't have to be eBay, but some form of selling. You just run out of space unless you just get a whole bunch of storage units and just shove everything in those and make
Like an infinity closet.
Yeah, right? Like, who would do that, though?
Or,
Just
not
have
even
totes
that.
among totes, and then you just get so many totes that, like, the store doesn't even sell the totes that you started with, and you have to find new supplies of totes.
Now your totes are collectible items.
Well, imagine if it's even worse than that, where, like, you're not even in totes. you're like in boxes, and random mislabeled boxes shoved into every corner of your house and your garage and your attic, to the point where you can't even, it's not even organized. Imagine being that person. Nick. Sorry, I had something in my throat there. I had to clear it. By the Rona.
Well, I'm really curious how Headmaster Don is doing with his move. I saw that I think this last weekend that he was moving. I think there was some rain involved and whatnot. I was following it on Twitter, but I know he's been so busy with everything that he hasn't had a chance to be on TFYLP for a little while. But
well, I think that the other show has him chained in a basement, actually, or at least his podcast mic.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be coy about the name. I just can't remember it at the moment. So
I'm sure Kilby would appreciate that. So.
Isn't it Triple Takeover? I think it's Triple Takeover.
So yeah. Talking about TFCon and the collections and selling and that, I've been pretty on the fence if I'm going to go or not. I'm kind of more enthused now. The thought about going as a helping out Orson. I enjoyed that a lot when I did it a couple years back at the last TFCon, just because I'm kind of like, I'm over the panels for the most part. I mean, I still like a few of them, right? But it doesn't make or break it for me anymore. But even the dealer room, I don't know, it's always fun. It's just one of those, like, it's an attraction. Just to go and walk around, it's fun, right? But even if I didn't go, it's not like, oh, I got to go for the dealer room. Like, no. Like, if I want anything, I buy it off eBay. And most stuff I have. Like, as far as existing stuff. And it's not like, oh, I have everything. It's just my collection's pretty done on that side. I'm mostly buying new stuff, which is mostly third-party masterpiece type stuff. A little Hasbro stuff here and there. And so, like, the dealer room doesn't actually hold a lot of appeal as far as I'm going to go make purchases since I bought Grandis, right? And there's still stuff there that I might pick up. A few things that if I feel like it or whatever. But it's like I don't really need the dealer room anymore. And it's not like eBay's new. It's been around since 99 or 97, something like that. And just your comment, Phil, just made me think about, like, I wonder how many people feel they need a dealer room to buy stuff for their collection, versus they would just rather get it on eBay and Facebook and, boards, which we've got a couple episodes talking about a lot of shit. But
so the thing I think is fun about the dealer room, and the last time I went, I didn't think I was going to buy that much. And like every time I go, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to buy that much. And then I do, because I'll like let it slip, and tell like you guys like, oh, I might be looking for this or that, or, whatever it may be. And you guys will like search it out for me and be like, oh, I like already negotiated a price for you. Like, here, like, go buy it from this guy. Kind
we're
of
definitely
thing.
enablers.
Right. Oh,
wait, you mean
100%.
this guy in the parking lot who doesn't even have a vendor table?
But like, yeah, like as Alderon's saying, sometimes you can find things at the dealer rooms you never see on eBay, and that's where I think it's fun, where you just go around and you just see like, oh crap, like I remember that, like, oh, that, I need to get that. I didn't think I needed it, whatever. Let me check my inventory log first to make sure I don't have two of them in a tote or whatnot. But yeah, like that's the thing I think is kind of funny, is like going to the parts parties or whatever, and you find like some part that you've been looking for however many years that they've got it at the bottom of a bin and whatnot. And then the other thing too is a lot of the dealers have like, if you are looking for third party masterpiece stuff, like sometimes they have stuff that's not on their website that they just happen to have.
Yeah,
like, oh, we
stock.
got this. Yeah, we got some old stock out of the back of the, like, whatever.
That's true. Like, I've got at the last one, I think you might have got it as well there, Peter. MMC Skylinks, and like those were getting hard to find, and there was just like a few left at the show at Agabus, and so I picked up mine there. And then it's like, oh man, this is because MMC's typically does this. Not like they set out to do it, but they make what is ordered and then they cut it off. They don't, like, I think XTB makes a ton, right? And so, but you can typically find where like they're going to make a production run of X, where MMC gauges interest much closer. But yeah, it can be good for that, and it's not marked up generally if they're breaking out old stock, unless it's like TF Source where they're going to jack the price up by 50-60%. But most other dealers will just put it out for their typical retail-ish price.
Or they will advertise on the show floor to go back to their website during the show for a marked up item. So I think TF Source has done that before.
If it's shady, they've done it.
I mean,
oh yeah, that should be another episode. Rob bitches about TF Source.
I don't know, man. Like I feel like
I was saying tonight should be a rant show.
Right there, you go.
I've floated the idea before of asshole edition. We all bring our biggest chips on our shoulders,
But I feel like we have to have Serge be on the show if that's going to be the case, and he never
is
on
Paul.
The show. So, I'm Paul too. So.
Probably Rick. But, he's a pretty big asshole.
Well,
me too.
Yeah.
I'm in good company.
But the thing about TF Source, I feel like all the dealers have done, businesses and whatnot, have done something that you're like, oh, I don't necessarily agree with that or this and whatever. And they are in the business to, try to make money and whatnot. So I think that they've all marked things up, and it's not just TF Source.
Not all of them. Not all of them. Plenty of the littler guys don't play that game.
I want to go back though to a point that you guys were talking about a few minutes ago, which is about why get a booth at a dealer versus doing eBay. I've been doing eBay for a while, and it's just a booth, you can just get things done so much quicker. You can move so much stuff so much quicker. Now, I wouldn't haul stuff halfway across the country to do that, but when TFCon was essentially in my backyard, a few years ago, and when I was supposed to be there last year, I was like, yeah, I want to get a table because I've done it before, and you move a lot more stuff more quickly. And sometimes you find people who are an audience for something that there isn't that audience for it, on eBay. Like I sold some of the Fun Pub subscription toys to, James Roberts was at the last TFCon I was at. So guess what? A lot of James Roberts fans were there, and that Chrome Dome and Rewind from the subscription service were had started to drop in price, and the Roberts fans, they were gobbling that stuff up. So, it is nice to kind of get in front of an audience, that is larger than what you're going to maybe get from eBay. And, you can kind of move stuff, and you're not paying, the eBay fees. Yeah, you gotta pay for a dealer booth and pay for gas, depending on how powerful you're traveling. But, you can do that quick negotiations versus the eBay.
eBay's fucking tedious to sell on. I don't mind buying on it, but selling on it is. And I'm fast at it. I'm efficient. I got my flat boxes. I got everything together. I can get it out quick, but it's still tedious.
It's really hard to sell those smaller items. Those $5 or $10 items. Yeah.
Yep.
Not worth it to anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I throw it in a lot or something, right? But
when I did TFCon with Paul, he was shocked because I had the bins, in front of the table, to just dig through bins. And he's like, he had never done that before. He didn't have any bin stuff. He had the stuff, for his own site he sells for. And, I'm just like, the bins were drawing crowds in, and then they'd start to look at the bigger, higher price stuff that was behind the table or on the table.
Yeah. It's one of those, I don't buy much in a dealer room anymore, but I still think selling in a dealer room is great, because a lot of people aren't me. There's some salesman quote or whatever but it's basically if you go into a dealer room, you're looking to spend money. It's much easier just to window shop on eBay or any website, right? Just if you're just curious what stuff costs. But if you're in a dealer room, your wallet's half open. So it's easier to sell stuff. A few years ago, when I was helping Orson, I put out just a small section of stuff, and stuff that I did not think would sell sold. And a lot of it sold. I sold 70% of my crap, and a lot of it was crap. But $5, $10 toys, we're like, I want to buy something. I still got some money. We'll scoop it up. Whereas
it's always hard to see like what's actually going to sell though, you know.
Yeah.
Because there's certain, you know, one show there might be, you know, whatever, like some of the cheaper stuff might sell, and then there's another show where your higher end stuff may sell. And I don't know, like um whenever I did TF Expo a couple years ago, and it was one of my times when I was selling everything from my like high end stuff, like my masterpiece and whatnot, and no one bought any of the fans toy stuff and like the higher end like make toy seekers and all that, right? Like, but everyone was going nuts over like the Planet X stuff and the fans project stuff and things like that. Like, so it's like you never know what's gonna, like, but again, like that was that show. Like, you know, if I have it, you know, if we had it this year or whatnot, like maybe something else would have, you know, sold instead. Of course, I don't have that stuff now to sell, but
I think that's one of the downsides of TFCon, that it changes location. Like, a couple of my friends do DairyCon, and they know the audience at DairyCon, and they know what sells there and what moves. And you know, when you have, you know, a show that does have more of a national footprint like TFCon, but then when you have it move across the country, you don't always have the same audience that's attending, so it's a little bit harder to gauge that. So, you know, Lucas, your show out there in KC, you know, you do it enough times that, you know, I get that, you know, your inventory was your own personal stuff. You weren't loading up on an inventory to sell there. But my assumption is that if you're loading up on an inventory to sell there, you're going to start to see the trends and patterns. Not that they're going to be the exact same every year, but you'll have a better gauge of what you're doing with that versus, well, you know, this is in Boston and I'm not Baltimore, and now it's in DC, and now it's in Chicago, and
it's a real double-edged sword. Like, it's great because more people get to experience it, and you know, some people, they're only going to experience if it's near them, and then they get the hook, and then they're like, hey, this is worth traveling a little further for, you know. And it gets them to experience. So there's a lot of positive, I think, that comes out of it. But then there's negatives, and people are like, well, I don't know when it's going to be, and I don't know where it's going to be. Am I going to drive? And so, like, every time you have to figure out what plans are going to work, and you got to figure it all out again from scratch every year, just like we did with BotCon for so long. You know,
I don't know. I mean, personally, I actually kind of like the way that TFCon has been doing it, because if you have it in the same spot all the time, it just kind of gets stale, and the same, you know, the same people are coming year after year after year. Whereas I think that, you know, it seems like they've been alternating Chicago like every 2 years, and so it's kind of like one of those things that by doing it that way, like, you know, you can just go every couple years, and then now where they've added another show as well, and assuming that they have, I mean, it's hard with COVID and all that stuff, but you know, they had added LA in, and then they were adding Orlando in before it got canceled. So I think if they kind of have some of that cadence where they're having like a spring and fall, and of course they always have their show in Toronto, well, again because COVID, but like before that that show is always at the same spot, you know, every year too. So it's like, if you want to go to the same spot, just go there.
And by the way, it could be an exciting show if my Unicron gets knocked into the floor tonight. We have a new cat, and I'll save the short version. She's been here for about a month or month and a half, something like that. And she's having trouble integrating. And so she's down here with me right now. And she really wants to hop on the shelf where Unicron is. I have 3 half shelves, and she keeps like eyeing it. And I'm like, no. And I have to back her away. And then she like tries to slink behind some figures on the bottom shelves. And so what I have right now is the automatic laser pointer, which she loves. And so I got that going to distract her, because she was about to start going over there again. No. But like, if I don't notice it, she'll hop up there. And she's hopped up there several times without knocking anything down, but you hear a loud crash and a lot of swearing, that's what's up.
Rob, I think you need to do us all, you know, that are viewing and participating in the show a favor, is set up a second camera right on that Unicron, so if and when it does happen, it is recorded for prosperity.
Here, I can show you this part. In theory, if I can, she's having fun. This can be the cat episode. I'll just leave my camera there. She's starting to get tired, but
And this week we had 3,000 viewers. What happened?
Oh yeah,
we just showed
she's
Rob's
laid over
cat.
now. She's laying down. She's getting tired. We missed the
Switching
good
from
stuff.
Transformers to cat videos.
I love cat
Tried and
videos.
true formula.
So, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know, like, what... Catherine's asking what we think will be hot at TFCon. And I don't know, I mean, it's hard to say.
Anything
like
fans toys that
Yeah.
is not... The mini bots seem to be in stock everywhere still. I don't know if they just made more, they're just not as popular or what. But, you know, like if there's a Blitzwing there, those are going to be gone in like 10 minutes, right? Or not Blitzwing, sorry, Astro Trains.
Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas. You know, so like any of the like bigger bots from fans toys will fly off.
Yeah,
and who knows what exclusives there'll be. You know, we can hypothesize about that later on another show or something.
That's something I'm looking forward to about TFCon, because I feel like, you know, we're talking about the status of our collection, and I feel like one thing I'm buying a lot less of is third party. Now, granted, there was a while there where I was kind of new to third party, and therefore I was buying stuff from a couple of years backlog. But, you know, with COVID and everything else, like the amount of new stuff of third party have been like, it's been a bit of a trickle for me. So sure, KFC is like shown a ton of stuff that they're coming out with, but I feel like my third party buying is gone down. And some of the stuff that I was thinking of buying for third party, Hasbro has got versions. Like I'm like, all right, you know, Fans Toys Stunticons. Let's grab those and build up that Menasor. And it's like, oh, but Hasbro's doing Stunticons. How good's that going to look and compare the price? I get it. Fans Toys is going to be way better, but from a price perspective, the Hasbro one's going to be a lot cheaper.
I mean, it just depends on what you're collecting, you know. And we've hit on this before that I think comparing Chug and Masterpiece, you're different worlds. There's no comparison. They're both different things. They have different price points, and that Masterpiece doesn't have a price point.
Yeah,
you know, it's all about the product. Whereas, you know, Chug stuff is about the price point, and it's what fits in the price point. You know, that's how all things are judged. So
I've got a shelf. I've got a shelf of MP scale Decepticon combiners, and you know, because I'm dealing with different third party companies, the quality is different, the scale is different. So I do have Combiner Wars, Devastator, and I've got Predaking, Hasbro Predaking on there. So do they look as good a quality as some of the third party ones? No, but it's all sort of a hodgepodge anyway. So I don't mind if I have another hodgepodge Hasbro, you know, combiner in there versus the Fans Toys, which would cost me a mortgage payment.
You know, we haven't heard from Peter. He's just been emoting along with us. So, Peter, I feel like you're probably the closest to my collecting habits, except it's like me plus all the Hasbro stuff, right? Whereas I get some of that.
Peter equals us plus you, Rob.
Yeah. So, you know, especially like I'm more interested in like your the vintage stuff you get. Like, you know, you just got a Fossilsaurus. Welcome to the club.
Thank you.
The water's really nice here.
It's my second.
Oh, it's your second. Okay, so you've had it for a while.
No, I have a loose one that I got a little while ago, and then the box one I got.
No, but tell us, Rob. Tell us how you're close to collecting like Peter is. Come on, keep telling us that. Now that he's on his second Fossilsaurus.
But so, especially for your vintage stuff that you're getting, you know, both Transformers and you know, related brands. You know, where are you finding your stuff?
I'm mostly like I have a routine, and don't tell my boss. But when I log on the work in the morning, I log on to Yahoo, and I've got my proxy service that I use, and I just shop. I've saved everything that I'm looking for in
Kanji.
Thank you. Kanji or katakana, and I just run searches. Boom, 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 and if anything pops up, if it's closing soon, I bid on it, buy it. If it's a buy it now, if it's something that's closing in the next day or two, I just watch it and open a tab and throw that tab over there. Log in and Mandarake and Jungle Shop.
Jungle Shop's new to me. I don't know what that is.
Jungle Shop is where I started shopping first. I just like back in 2010 or so. I was just like shop Japanese store in America or something. I just ran a random search and that came up.
So are they? It's a U.S. based import store.
No, it's a Japanese-based store, and they ship to the
Okay.
U.S. And the site, you switch it over to English, kind of like Mandarake does now. Switch it over to English, pop in your address, and they'll send it to you.
Yeah. And for anybody who's never done that before, you're like, oh wow, it's so much cheaper over there, and then it's like a $50 EMS shipping fee. So like keep that in mind. If you're buying a lot of times it's still worthwhile to do. But
the shipping prices used to be cheaper, but as we've seen with like COVID and all that, it's like all went completely haywire.
The
But
last
yeah,
18
like
months have been pretty rough for shipping prices, but I will say, like, I got a boxed Baikon Fu from the DX Baikon Fu from Machine Robo Revenge of Kronos, and I got it for 150 or something like that, and it's unused, beautiful, $150, and then I had to pay the 10% or whatever to the shipping service, and then pay for actual shipping. So cool, I got out of there, like $300, all said and done. Yay. You can get them on eBay right now from a stateside seller or from someone who's selling and willing to ship to the States for $1,100.
Ooh.
So have fun with that. It's not just the, oh, you got to watch out for the shipping fee. It's that your options stateside are limited because they know they kind of got you, and they're willing to hurt your wallet to get you that thing. So shopping overseas is advantageous.
Yeah, your fossil source acquirement encouraged Phil to message me. He's like, hey, what do you know about fossil source? I'm buying one, right? And I was like, well, if you look on eBay, like it's going to be many hundreds of dollars. That's if you can find it, which you probably won't. It's super rare to show up on eBay. I was like, but I got mine boxed and shipped for $300. Like that's insanely. But I was like, but if you see it on the floor at TFCon, I bet it's gonna be $700, maybe $1,000.
$700. Yeah, I would say there's one on Yahoo right now, and it's been on Yahoo for months. The box is pretty rough, more rough than the one that I have. Mine has like a line across the top, but this one is like scrapey marks across the top, and it's $1,500 translated, and that's just way too much. Don't do that. So even Yahoo sellers from Japan know that people are coming over and shopping, and they're not going to sell it domestically for that. But maybe someone from the States or from Europe will be like, "Oh, what a deal! I found the thing
Probably
I've been looking for."
but
Some things sell.
Yeah.
But I got lucky on mine. I have an acquaintance in Hong Kong who I gave him a list, like, find these things, and he's like, "Okay, hey, I found this thing. This is the price. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do that." So.
I think eventually what I'll just do is just pay you guys a finder's fee.
Like when I got mine, I used Day Japan, but anytime I go to their site now, it usually doesn't load, or like it takes like a gajillion years. So I don't know if they got really slow or if there's some DNS issue between me and them. I don't know what the deal is. They were awesome when I used them. Just I know there's several proxy sites out there, but yeah, like they actually don't charge a percentage fee off the bat, I think is how it works. But like you can pay them extra to do. It came up just fine right now, so I don't know. Maybe the other day it was just a bad day, but yeah, like they're really cheap, and yeah, just throwing that out there if people are interested. And I shouldn't because more competition, but
So this is a question I wanted to ask you guys about buying vintage toys. You're buying it from someone who is overseas. It's costing an arm and a leg for shipping. You're trusting that it looks as good in the pictures as when you get it in hand. One of the things I'm looking forward to TFCon is I don't have a complete G1 collection. There's stuff I want to get G1 wise. I prefer to buy that stuff in person. I understand the stuff you guys are into. It's hard to do that. So how do you sort of evaluate when you're buying some of these rarer pieces? Is it just like, dude, it's rare, I just kind of want it. If the condition isn't as perfect as the pictures, as long as it's not busted up, I'll be okay with it, kind of deal? Or talk me through your process on that.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go shortly. Okay. I mean, pictures, if it doesn't have pictures, don't take the risk. Yeah. If it doesn't have good pictures, don't take the risk. And we're not talking about cheap stuff. So if you don't feel the pictures are good enough, feel free to ask, which can be hard to do if they're on Yahoo Japan, right? But if you're selling a $700 toy, or even $200 toy, right, and the seller doesn't want to take more pictures, move on. And then aside from that, it's the same as you buy anywhere online. What is their rating, their reviews? Don't spend $300 on a super rare toy with somebody with 0 reviews or 3 reviews, right? Like, you're probably better off letting it bake unless you have some other sort of corroborating reference for that source. And there's always a roll of the dice with anything you buy online, right? But generally after that, you've done all you can and you go to town, and 99% of the time you're going to be fine if you do that stuff.
That's good. Appreciate it.
I don't know. Do you have anything to add, Peter?
No, I like to. I mull things over. I am my own worst enemy when it comes to buying too quickly. I've in the past not noticed things that I should have when shopping, and get it, and it's like, what the hell is that? But now, when I was 18 and doing that, I would, go yell at the seller and be a little hothead, and then find out, oh yeah, I'm being a little hothead. I botched. So now I always go back to the pictures like, yep, there it is. I was too excited. Didn't see that there was a dinged corner or the frickin' robot points were cut out. How the hell do you miss that, Destron? I don't know, but it's happened before a couple times on expensive stuff. Yeah, just pay attention to the pictures, and you just gotta, I don't know. For me, some of the things that I've been buying over the summer, it's like I'm not, over the past year, I guess, I'm not going to get, I feel like I'm not going to get these chances again, because the space between when they appear online gets longer and longer and longer. And the more people I see on Facebook, like, hey bro, I'm just getting into collecting and I've got $1,000 and I bought this thing, and they rip it open and put it on the shelf. This is lame. I don't even like it anymore. And then get them while you can. Because it's not pre-2007 anymore. It's not pre any of that anymore. We're old, and the toys are getting older, and the people purchasing them are not getting any more careful.
Yeah, on the one hand, I think we've touched on this before, but the market for this stuff is going to keep shrinking to most degrees, but also the availability of rare stuff will keep shrinking up. Like, I think, a lot of the mass-produced U.S. stuff, I think if you want it, you'll be able to find it. And there's been reissues of a lot of the main stuff as well. Not everything by far, but then like stuff that it was only released in Japan or only released in Europe, those are a lot harder to come by, and those will just continue to shrink until, every now and again you get like that one dude, I can't remember, like I think it was 2 years ago, but there's like, I have everything, and I'm a known collector, and I am now selling my collection.
Is
and
it Bryce?
Bryce.
Yeah,
and it's a feeding frenzy, to get the choice bits.
And even then, he soft let the list out and let people come to him, and it was like, that's gone. I haven't had a chance to update the list because you people are beating me up.
Mm-hmm.
So things that used to be ubiquitous are now really hard to come by. In some instances, some of that European stuff, like you were talking about, the Gen 1.5, Gen 2 stuff that no one wanted for years and years and years and just sat everywhere.
Yeah. And those toys are so great. Unique molds, and they have wonderful colors, and they pop.
Oh, I love the colors so much. Yeah. The only problem is that there's so much gold plastic in a lot of them, especially accessories.
Every single weapon on the planes. I can't remember what are they called?
Yeah.
Predators.
Yep.
Like, everything is gold plastic handles. And all of mine have their handles, but I'll never touch them again. Like Thunderclash, I'm just not going to touch that toy anymore. I really want to, but it's just like, nope.
A lot of the ones I have, like, don't.
Pyro.
Some of them are, exactly. Yeah. Some of them are in better condition than others, and like some have accessories, some don't, but like I kind of did the kind of same thing when I was going through and trying to find those that I was like, this condition I'm okay with living with this. Like I'll go ahead and get, for this one and that one and whatever. But
I mean, the day is going to happen where you're not going to be able to find them that aren't broken anymore. And we keep approaching it because GPS, the plastic's basically already broken. It's just waiting to show you. And you got to get comfortable with gluing stuff. To be honest, it's kind of like the emulator community or the speedrun community. They used to be like, oh no, you have to do your speed runs on the hardware, or it's not valid, right? And eventually they're like, you know what? One day there's not going to be any working Nintendos anymore. It's just literally not going to be work, or somebody's going to have to open it up to get it working again, but then it's no longer vintage. And so they're like, we got to get rid of this restriction, and so the verified emulators that you can't cheat on, blah, 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 that are exactly accurate and all this and that, because or else the scene was going to die completely. And I think if any of this vintage collecting carries past like when we're 60 and there's other people still interested in it, which is a long shot anyways, like they're going to have to be comfortable with throw some glue on it. You're just not going to have it.
So online, this isn't Transformers, but people are complaining about Motu and the classics being like, the prices, shooting up for them and whatnot. And I think it was like Pixel Dan or whatever was saying, he's like, hey, Motu classics are 13 years old now. That's like buying the original vintage stuff back in 2000, and it's like, that's like, this stuff's like, that stuff's rare now at this point, some of the ones that came out at the beginning, the new stuff that's hitting the shelves now, again, it's one thing, but it's, I don't know. And then it's kind of the same way with the original movie toys for Transformers, 2007's like keeps getting further and further away,
I mean, it's 14 years old. That's right. There's definitely a vintage aspect. We like to bitch about, the core line of characters getting done over and over again in every line ever, right? And there's definitely a lot of validity to that. But like, I hit Secret Burnout in like 2010, right, and just got over it. But like, they're doing the new Seekers and like, doing all 6 of them again. It's like, again, man, that mold was in 2006, 2007. The classic start. It's fucking old. And like, there's been plenty of Starscream, sure, but very rarely has it been the trio all in the same mold, and definitely hasn't been all 6. So it's like, sure, they're due for it. There's new collectors that are excited about it. So if it comes out, good for them. That stuff is old. it's old. It doesn't feel as old to us because we were adults when it came out. And I think when you're a kid, every year is a bigger proportion of your life. Therefore, it all feels more monumental as you're going through. And, your body's changing and, your life changes a lot year to year and your attitudes and what you learn or whatever. But, and that, I don't know, that's, your brain should continue to grow as you're an adult or whatever, but you still kind of, your life stage kind of changes. At least to me, like once I was out of college and in the workforce, and then again when I got married, it kind of feels a little different to me then. But then after that, it's like all the same. And so anything that came out after that point, it's like, oh, that just came out. I'm like, oh wait, no, I've been married 15 years. Like, this stuff's old. Shit.
See, but I've had a lot of like seasonal changes, whether it was relationship wise, moving. Well, that was the year I spent in that place, and that was just hopping around. So it breaks it up for me. It doesn't feel like one contiguous like story. I don't know. So it's easy for me to like box those years. Well, that was when Dark of the Moon came out, and that was the second divorce or whatever, and just that was beans. But yeah, I like seeing. I want to. I don't know. I like that people are still interested and want to get into collecting, and I guess I jump the gun and I'm too harsh on people sometimes, especially new collectors, because I'm gatekeeping because I'm an old crotchety man. But I am happy that it's not dead yet. But also stop buying my toys.
I don't think Transformers is going to die, and I don't think the collecting it is going to die. But it's going to shift. I mean, we already have people where Unicron Trilogy is their G1. There's plenty of people that are really excited about Prime. Like Prime was, I don't know why. Like I thought Prime was all right, but for whatever reason, it really clicked with some people. Like we saw at the last TFCon, they were super stoked about it. Like Amber, that used to be on the show, she was really into it as well. Which I mean, she's technically still part of the show. She just, doesn't come on anymore. She hates us. But then, we've got Serg, who, he's a bit Unicron trilogy too, but the movies were huge for him.
Serg?
Yeah, I called him Serg.
Sergaio.
Yeah, Sergaio. So and it'll continue, although I don't know if we've talked about this, is going to say, oh, the War for Cybertron trilogy was a Meiji one, because
oh god,
I don't see that happening, but I could see somebody being
toys.
nostalgic for the toys. Yeah.
The toys.
Definitely.
The boy isn't a fan of the Netflix stuff, the Netflix shows. Hey, I've got that guy. But he is happy that he is able to watch the Gen 1 cartoon, read the IDW comics, and plug the War for Cybertron toys into his headcanon, to suit those things. Because when he looks, every time I show him a Gen 1 toy or a Machine Robo toy that I'm like, look at this thing that I got, he looks at me and he's like, what the hell are you talking? This is lame. I was trying to show him how cool Brave stuff is last week, because I got some Brave stuff and it's really cool. And he's like, no, this is not the jam.
You might have to lock him in the attic for a while until he learns his lesson.
I'm down with that.
Brave has a lot of bricks, but it has some awesome bricks in there. And then it's got crap like the Pegasus combiner. Don't tell me that's not awesome. You're wrong. You are wrong.
Bingo.
I don't know. Some of that vintage stuff, it looks pretty cool even if you have like no association with it. But I know sometimes, like, say if you get like, a McDonald's Happy Meal toy and you're like, oh, look, like, here you go. I got this off of eBay for, whatever price. And you're like, it's a Happy Meal toy. What the hell?
But it's all for the Muppet Babies and all for the things they rode on.
The cars, yeah.
Yeah. Kermit with his what did Kermit have? Oh my god.
Tricycle or something.
No, Gonzo had the big wheel.
Oh.
Miss Piggy had the pink car.
Yeah.
We had Fozzie that was on the horse. And did Kermit have like a skateboard?
As a term I first heard from Paul, late stage transformerism. When you're collecting to complete a list, what it actually is matters less and less, especially the further you get down the list. You don't care that it's a piece of shit McDonald's toy that no one liked even then, right? It's rare and it costs hundreds of dollars and it's one of 4 things left on my list, so I'm going to look for it and buy it. I have it in the budget now because I got everything else that I wanted, or so much of it, right? Like you get down to that. I was kind of that way with the Elite Action Masters. Like, I didn't. What are you doing, Cat? I don't trust you. For a while I was just like, oh, I'll never spend that money on them or whatever, and then I did.
Well,
and I really liked them, but I got down to it, and I always thought they were cool. I just didn't want to spend the money until I did.
Yeah, it's like you said, though. You hit the nail on the head. Once you've knocked off dupe, and dupe on the list, then your budget's like, well, now I don't have to worry about buying dupe, and dupe. Now I can buy dip, and dip. And there's that money. Put it together.
Unless you're collecting the new stuff, and then you're like, well, Hasbro just, take my money constantly.
I think that's one thing too this year with Transformers that's helped me a little bit, is that especially so far with the second half of the year, we haven't gotten a huge product drop, or they've been trickling it out. So I don't feel like I'm buying a massive amount of stuff at one time. Now, granted, they've just started shipping all the things that I pre-ordered in the spring. Right. So now it's just like every other day, like, another big box. Yeah.
I watch most of the Hasbro stuff from afar now. And it feels like there's constant, like a steady stream of stuff. But we haven't had like a couple times when they're like, hey, here's a new wave. And it was like people dropping $400 just to get new stuff, regular retail stuff. But it's like all at once. And like they're loading up their Hasbro Pulse card or whatever, It feels like it's been a while since that's happened.
Yeah, like I just got all 3 of these dudes today. The Triceradion, I forget his name, and then Grimlock and Mirage set. So, the fact that you're getting, 3 Transformers showing up on your doorstep on a day, not part of the same pre-order, not even from the same website. It's like, okay, yeah, more stuff's coming in. Like I just in the last month got Scorponok because I got that delayed order because of COVID, and I just got my Arc as well. So like 2 Titans in a month. So yeah, I'm getting a lot more stuff, but yeah, it feels like with this sort of dribble like Transformer Tuesday thing, every other Tuesday you get a new thing to order. You're not getting the big Toy Fair drop 2 waves order thing at that we're seeing. That's I think helped me a little bit with my Transformers collecting, feeling better about it. And then at the same time, again, like I said, the third party stuff seems to have slowed down a little bit. It's picked up pace now again for pre-orders, but in terms of actual things that are out, I feel like it's slowed down.
Everything's slowed down, and it's going to continue to slow down just because of shipping nightmares.
Yeah,
that's the manufacturers getting it out, right? That's not even like trying to get it from Show Z. It's like Show Z doesn't have it.
Yeah.
So,
but I feel like the thing is like you pre-order all this stuff and you're like trying to be good and budget and whatever, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh holy crap! Like Hasbro Pulse just sent me like 13 things, so I guess my budget this month is just It's like, no, honey, I swear I ordered this like 9 months ago. I almost forgot that I had ordered it from Hasbro Pulse. And, tomorrow. Oh, well, no, I ordered that 6 months ago. And, I ordered this 3 months. It's like, sorry, it's all like, I swear I didn't just all order this stuff.
What about the Target bag? Like, oh yeah, that I bought today.
I feel a lot of that is more so than it has been in previous years, but like it's just really due to the pandemic. Like I feel Hasbro has a bunch of stuff coming on the ship, right? Or maybe on the ship, and it's just like where it used to, plenty of ships going out all the time and stuff would get integrated in. It's like, nope. Now it's just one big ship of all your Hasbro crap.
The thing
and like we saw that with Ninja Turtles. I mentioned, a couple months back, but like it was obvious that NECA and Super 7 got their Ninja Turtle shipment stuff at the same time. Because it was stuff that was ordered completely different times and spanned, and then it all came in at once. It's like, like you guys got your stuff at the same time because they allowed a toy shipment to go through or whatever. And I think I like that they're spacing out the pre-orders and the orders for things. I think that's good for people, but I think it's still all going to hit in big batches until or if the world gets back to some normal-ish, right? And we get more shipping stuff going on.
But
yeah, speaking of Ninja Turtles, I got that. Rob, you've got yours right behind your shoulder. I saw it. The Ninja Turtles Chrome Dome from NECA. So like this has been the month of big giant robots. So that guy is gigantic.
He's a robot, isn't he?
Yeah, I got the 2 Titans. Oh, and the HasLab Sentinel. So yeah, lots of giant robots in my house, more than I had before.
Red Soundwave for comparison. I thought the Super 7 Bebop and Rocksteady were large, and they are huge, but Chrome Dome is still large. He's not the largest Ninja Turtle figure I have because I think that third-party Krang is larger. Yeah, it's larger. And then the quarter scale turtles, but he's definitely one of the largest things that have been made for Ninja Turtles. Period. And I got Scorponok as well. I finally went ahead and picked one up. It's all right.
Now you need to spend $100 on upgrade kits.
Nope. Pass. I got Black Zarek pre-ordered as well. And depending on what the kit does, and I don't even remember what Black Zarek looked like exactly, but that kit I could see maybe caving on depending, but we'll see when we get there.
Because his head looks even larger and more disproportionate with Black Zarek than it does as Scorponok.
It's supposed to. Black Zarek's supposed to have a huge freaking melon. And I hope any kits that come out give him a cape and let him do that thing that he did in Zone where his legs are spread out behind his back and can like shoot lightning at the rocket, and he has an eye patch on the big head and he flies away. And he's not in the cartoon anymore. You're like, how do I find your later adventures? I gotta read story pages in a language I don't understand.
You just read the wiki.
Yeah.
That's where the stories go now. They go in the wiki. You know, it's funny when I first found out about like some of those stories, and it's like, oh, they go on and like you read a synopsis online somewhere, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I could read the real story. And you realize, oh, it's literally a 2-page spread.
It's a page, yeah.
Yeah, like,
and then this happened, and you're like, oh,
like reading the wiki actually gave you just as much info, just not the pretty art. But
yeah, the shipping stuff though has been so weird. Where like I don't know, whatever. Walmart gets something like 3 months before anyone else, or Target, or like whatever. Name your stuff, or Big Bad Toy Store. It's like I've had those like Sharkticons now. I don't know. Has it been like a month or more? And like no one like it hasn't showed up for like anywhere else. Like I don't know how I managed to get those. And so
like was it you or Ari and another one that had slug/slag since like July?
Yeah, like it wasn't me, but it was somebody. Yeah.
I saw him in July and didn't pick him up then.
Oh,
whoops.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're talking about again how we collect these days a bit, as much as this one episode has a topic, right? How we've hinted on it before in other shows, but like, you know, the toy companies, some of them, it took them a while to catch on that, hey, collectors are buying stuff. Maybe we should cater to them a little more, right? You know, because kids are buying less. And, you know, it's like for me personally, I buy basically everything online. So very little in store because I never go outside even before the pandemic, right? And so...
You can see from your complexion.
Yeah, I'm pasty. Turn down your monitor brightness if I'm on the screen.
Mexico didn't even help.
Oh, I wore this big hat. But it so like, and there's kind of like different tales there. Like some stuff is easy to order, like Super 7 for Ninja Turtle stuff. Super easy, right? You got a month, 6-week or open window and you go. Same with like HasLab stuff. You know, there's a big open window to buy stuff. You can make sure you get what you want. NECA is turning the corner on the Target Ninja Turtle cartoon stuff. Almost everything has been online to order from them. You know, it sells out in only an hour or two, but like that is amazing over the like 3-second windows we used to see on Target online, like literally 3 seconds before the bots ate it up. So like some of that's getting better as people are adopting to, oh, hey, you know, how do we service people and not scalpers? Hasbro Pulse puts out tons of exclusives now because, you know, Toys R Us is dead. But when Target exclusives do show up, I think they're still paying for everyone. Walmart exclusives literally nobody likes. And we don't know why Walmart does it because they don't want to service it. You can order it online and you don't know what the hell if you're going to get it anyways. Apparently even Amazon, some people have gotten their exclusives from there canceled. You know, and Hasbro Pulse is trying to give some of those, like, you know, like they call it like the shared exclusive or whatever they call it. Like they're trying to offer some of that on Pulse, I've seen. You know, so, you know, for me, again, it's all online and it has been for a while, especially the third-party stuff. Of course it's online, right? There aren't stores selling that to begin with. Fans Toys is a problem with some of their pre-order for their bigger bots. You know, those sometimes sell out really hard and you got to scrounge. You can usually find it, though. Hit up a TFW thread and follow some chats, and you can usually find somewhere that has it or get some help. But, you know, some of it's stressful. The more stress on the Ninja Turtle stuff. The Transformer stuff hasn't been bad, and no, you don't. Not going on.
Right, I was gonna say I don't feel like Transformers is that bad. At the same time, though, if there's an exclusive you definitely want, it's like you definitely want to get your order in before it sells out. So like there's been a few things where it's kind of sold out, but then things come around. Like Target, I don't feel like it's been hard at all. Like a lot of times they'll get a restock of things, and like I feel like
that's your
Pulse
experience.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, Peter, that you live where you do, but like, you know, up
for
here
many
in the land
reasons.
of Milk of Honey,
me and my other local guy who's in our chat, you know, we check every day. We check all of our local spots. We check the app. We check, you know, we have other satellite friends, and no one has found squat. But it all shows up at Scalpers R Us, the comic book store, and Big Redhead Scalper Ass Toys in Tampa. Oh, did I call him out? Fuck that guy.
Whoops.
I mean, whoops.
Fudge that guy.
Fudge that guy. Fudge him.
That mother trucker.
Yeah. Anywho, yeah. So yeah, we found nothing at retail lately. Our stores are all barren. And it's just really discouraging.
So
I mean, the thing is that Peter, you're just instead of having an actual job, you just need to drive around all day to all the stores, and you know, then you can get your pick of the inventory.
This is true.
It's just that easy. Why don't you just do that?
Because I'm too busy shopping from my job for Machine Robo stuff in Hong Kong.
So for the Ninja Turtle stuff, like, how have you guys been filling those spots in your collection? Like, I've been waiting on like NECA to put most stuff online, and I'm getting most of it there, but they don't put the Walmart movie stuff on there, or at least they haven't been, except for like Bebop and Rocksteady was exclusive to there, right? But so like I usually just troll eBay until I can find somebody that takes a bid that is close enough, right? Because I usually say, well, if I bought it from, like, Phil's helped me out with a few things before, right? And it's like, well, Phil bought it for X, add on tax, add on shipping, and, you know, to help me out, like, it would be this much. So like if I got to pay an extra $10 and I can get it on eBay, I'll probably just do it, right? And sometimes you can find that, and then I forget that, oh, eBay is going to charge extra tax, and now it's like $20 more. Shit. But because I've already hit agree to the offer or whatever. That's happened to me a few times. But you know, eBay's the last resort, you know, and I do try to hold out for it, but that comes up so rarely for me to have to pay scalper prices. What about you guys? Have y'all found any way around it, or does it come out later?
I haven't seen it come out later locally in about a year. I usually get lucky in groups, or someone will reach out to me, like some of you have reached out to me, and I appreciate it. Hey, I've got this thing. There's a spare sitting right here. Yes or no? And it's like, you know, it's usually on the fly, yay or nay. So I'm really grateful that we have a good network to do those sorts of things. But yeah, like, I don't know, with like third-party stuff, you'll see people like Fans Toys in particular. People will go all in. Oh, I collect Fans Toys now, and they'll spend whatever they spend, and then like 2 months later, it's like, oh, I'm out of Fans Toys now, and selling everything.
It's called surging it, because you literally, it's a surge of toys. Like, it works on two levels, you know.
Sure does.
It's a surge of crap that you're tired of, and a few months later, you get rid of it all.
I just thought today, I was like, oh, I didn't know he got the mini bots from Fans Toys, but there you are.
And he sold them all today to some dude named Peter.
Oh,
there you go.
What? He bought the Fans Toys mini bots? Like, he sold off. He was selling off his Masterpiece crap at a table with Phil at the last TFCon in Chicago. like I thought he was done with at least G1 Masterpiece. You know,
I don't have room to talk because I think I've done that twice. So I haven't bought new Masterpiece again, and I know a lot of times
the frequency that Surge does that though is higher than most.
To each their own, man. We all have different wavelengths.
Paul and Rob and whoever will be like, oh, like, you know, because I'll talk about like, oh, like, you know, the new Masterpiece Starscream looks really cool. Like, I kind of wish I could get it. And they're like, well, why don't you get it then? I'm like, no, you don't understand. I can't do that. Because if I get that, then I got to go back and get
the rest.
All the Masterpieces. Like, it's just.
Yeah. I think it's totally fine if people want to buy stuff and they know they're not going to keep it, but they just want to play with it for a while. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's totally legit. Like, hey, I wanted the Fans Toy stuff. I wanted to check it out for 6 months, and then I'm done with it. That makes sense. But people are like, oh, I'm totally into this now, and they just don't think once. And I'm not saying Surge does this or not. I don't know. But, you know, they just don't think one step ahead of them. So it's like, be honest with yourself. Are you really going to want that in a month or in 6 months? Because if not, just fuck it, skip it, dude. Save the headache and the
Surge. But there are a lot of I'm talking specifically Fans Toys fans that just they chase the hype. Then it's like, oh wait, this is complicated, or it's a character I don't connect to, or it's whatever, or I've spent $4,000, and then they're like, oh, I'm out.
Oh, you got 4 toys, cool. When are you gonna get the other 25 or 50 or whatever the fuck number they're up to? It is cool being in the MPG1 game, just because it's come out some slow. There's a little bit of fun to it, and I'm very patient, but like so many of the deep corners are in theory getting scratched with, especially with X-Transbots, a lot of their reveals lately. They're really hitting in there. I do wish Make Toys would come back and finish some of the stuff they started, because no one's hitting those and hasn't talked about hitting those and isn't looking to hit those. But there are still some of the other combiners, but I feel third-party Masterpiece still has not figured out combiners.
I'm curious.
Like they're working on it.
Is gonna
but
make an appearance at TFCon? Like, are they gonna try to eke out an exclusive? Like they've done in the past. Are they gonna try and eke out something else and whatnot? Because like, did they finish their Seekers up?
Make Toys?
Like make Toys, like they were supposed to finish up the Coneheads. Did they
did
finish
not.
those all up?
Well, they didn't finish the Coneheads. They did the first 3, and then they reissued Starscream or Comet Fred. And
then Sunstorm came out. Quality on it was in the trash, but it still commands a lot on eBay. And then
Acid Storm, right?
Did that come Acid Storm is out now. TF Source hasn't kept marking it up until release, and now it's like 50% more than they originally marked it for, and the colors are off. People try to downplay it, but it's just like the bright green's a shade too bright and the dark green's a shade too dark, and so like combined, I don't think it looks good. Some people will take different pictures with different lighting and it won't look as bad, right? But it doesn't look as nice as the images do. And then their purple one, the Hot Link or whatever, they tried to crowdfund and that didn't make it. And then I think Dirge came out.
One of the
Dirge came out. But Ramjet and whoever, I'm just blanking, did not. Thrust, yeah, those have not come out. And will they?
I was less excited about the Seekers than I was about Buster and Hydra and the other Target Masters, the other Headmasters.
Well, KFC had Buster and Hydra at CAD level years back, and Keith is getting the God Generi stuff going again. Like he's starting to say, hey, getting the dust off, right? Because they had the prototypes and stuff for that one. So I'm hoping. I think he's planning on getting back into Masterpiece with whoever he has designing KFC now, and resuming those designs. And so I'm hoping that'll be our Buster, Hydra, and Darkwing, Dreadwind.
Let's do it.
If we go back to last week's conversation, though, when you guys were talking about the GoBots, you were talking about, some of these companies make GoBots, these third party, nope, they're gone. Nope, they're gone too. Like there are far fewer third party companies now than there were 2 or 3 years ago, let alone now that we're post COVID. Lemon Tree, had some cool looking stuff, and they did Purple Potato, and is that it? Are they done? Or
they're supposed to be sending me replacement parts because my Purple Potato had a couple of manufacturer defects, and that they reach out like, hey, did you get your parts? I'm like, no, I don't have a shipping. They're like, okay, they said they're sending it now. I'm like, they're reaching out to me to ask if it's done, which is a good sign, right?
Yeah.
But I haven't got my parts and it doesn't form right.
So hopefully this TFCon will be a smorgasbord of third-party reveals. Because I do feel like, I don't necessarily need them, but they do fill holes in the collection that, you do want. You do want those third-party scale or quality. I'm sorry, not Masterpiece quality. And scale, toys that just Hasbro, will never get to.
Like, I don't think Fans Toys is ever going to do the Fort Max that they teased. No. Like, I could see them doing the head, which they said was a separate piece. I could maybe see that coming out. Yeah. But I don't know if they would do that when they know they're not going to do the rest. I think it was hilarious and awesome that they revealed that, but get real, guys. I just don't see that actually ever happening.
It's cool that your designer worked on that on his lunch break for 3 months. That's good on them. You're not fooling anybody. But then again, whoever thought they would actually put out with Mega Supreme?
Oh, 4 companies think they would because they did. So,
but I think when the prototypes, the renders for Omega Supreme, when those first came out, people were like, sure, buddy, yeah.
That was definitely one of those moments, right? And then not only did it come out, other people got in the game out of nowhere for some reason.
I mean, that's almost a vintage toy at this point.
Yeah.
It's older. What was that?
Is it a Chugster piece?
It's the market's definitely shrunk, which has changed my buying habits to some degree. Like the only big loss we've had in that area is DX9. Like recently is DX9. Potentially unique toys with it, kind of. They haven't done G1 stuff. They haven't done G1 stuff in a while. They've been doing movie stuff for a little bit here and there, but I'm not sure.
I thought they announced that they were done. I can't remember.
Well, that was explicitly the DX9 side, but they're like the same thing, right? So
yeah, but so those guys are, I believe they're New Age, is what I've heard.
So incestuous.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, and that's the thing too. I feel like with a lot of the collecting is collectors in general, where however many years ago everybody was into Chug, and then Masterpiece kind of took over, and then that's been like huge too. And then it's like, but then you have all these people where you get bored and you're like, okay, well, I have this whole Masterpiece collection, like what else am I gonna get? And then Legends comes out and you're like, oh, that's really cool too. And then Hasbro like ups their game with Chug, and you're like, all right, I'm back into Chug too, like kind of thing. It's like I feel like these companies create these new scales or looks and whatnot.
G1 sells the best, and they're trying to figure out how can we sell G1 again, which makes I get it. It's a valid question, but third party both killed itself and Hasbro killed a lot of it. When Hasbro started saying, oh hey, collectors are a thing, we should make toys for them more, like straight up G1 crap, that killed off Chug third party completely. It was just like, why would you do this anymore? Nobody cares anymore. There's better stuff at Walmart for $15. I don't need this $40 weird Springer toy from Fans Project, right? Which was amazing for its time, but there's no reason to buy it now at all, right? Other than just as kind of a novelty. So that got rid of all the Chug stuff, and then the Masterpiece guys, so many of them ate their own. Fan Toys being very aggressive in their marketing and how they reveal, which is Keith has been planning what has happened over the past few months for a while. Like a lot of that stuff has been in design for a long time, right? And then he's just like, boom, 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 boom. He's like, if you don't have this stuff ready to go, you cannot compete with me on every single one of these right now. And then plus a lot of them are deep digs, right? Of course, it's going to be fucking 7 years before half of that comes out, if we're lucky. So we'll see how that goes.
Is Perfect Effects still around?
They haven't done anything in a while. They did the Beast Gorira. What was it? Yeah.
Yeah, and they did the Lion as well, Leo Convoy.
They
thought
did
that came
Leo
after,
Convoy,
right?
Gorira. No, Leo Convoy I thought was first.
And they did Transmetal 2 Megatron and Cryotech as well.
But even that was like 4 or 5 years ago now.
Yeah,
right.
It's all old.
But
they're
done
awesome.
any
upgrade kits too? Because I know DNA is kind of taking that over a little bit.
DNA is kicking ass on those kits, yeah. Perfect Effect, they reissued, I want to say, one of the Fort Max kits, or I might be misremembering.
And then Bad Cube is gone.
Bad Cube's toast. Yeah.
Yeah. They may still be there. They didn't necessarily go out of business, but they're not making anything, right? They tried to launch a new brand and.
Yeah, the Nature's line was not what we were after.
Yeah, so many people say, "Oh, I wish people would do new characters, whatever." Like, no, you don't.
I mean, look at TFC.
Anna does actually. Just FYI.
Yeah, but that's like
I know
5%.
If Catherine's in the chat, she showed what B girl or something. There's some B girl that I guess has actually been a hot seller. So.
But like TFC does their own thing every once in a while. They've got a couple.
I'm surprised they're still around. But I think they're under different names. I think that Kang Toys is TFC.
I've heard that, yeah.
And so that's others. Because didn't they do another G.I. Joe Prime tank thing recently?
And they're doing a Megatron Destro's Dominator or something. They're doing.
which that's like a $300 toy that when the pre-orders went up, they didn't have any like color renders of it yet. And just I want to see the toy. I might get it, but I'm not gonna plunk down that much money without actually seeing what the toy itself looks like.
Yeah, but they've also got like other pieces. They've got like wholly original jet dudes that are $200, and they're like super greebly hyper. I don't even know, hyper stylized anime
TFC.
design. Yeah, I know it's TFC, so that's what you expect. But it's like these are non-characters with bodies that aren't really evocative of anybody that we're familiar with at a $200 price point in grayscale. I'm not going to get hyped on that. I'm not. As much as I would want to say that, oh, it'd be cool if someone did an original character, an original blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, make me a really nice Nautica, or make me a really nice whoever the heck, let's
Whoever
stick with what we know.
I saw an interesting take on that the other day, and Rob, you buy these. The company that makes the cube transforming toys.
Oh, those
52 toys.
What's that?
52 toys.
52 toys. I kept thinking like, no, it can't be the same thing as the DC, the lab. No, but you're right, 52 toys. So I saw the other day that they've got a jet that turns into two different styles of jet and a robot. Now it doesn't look like a transformer, but it's like, all right, that's neat. That's cool. I might pick it up. And it's like, it's a transforming robot toy.
But it's not $200.
It's not $200, but also they have, as a company, have built up this following with doing that cube toy shtick for a couple of years. And it's like, all right, now we're kind of gonna like dip our toe into something that's pretty darn close to a transformer, and like I feel more comfortable with them doing that, even though it doesn't look like a Autobot or some kind of thing. But it's just like, oh, cool, yeah, I trust these guys. These guys make cool toys. I don't love all the things they do, but they've got some character and personality to them, and this thing looks cool. So here's a known commodity making a new character, but the designs look neat, and it's like a $50 toy. I'm pretty darn tempted to pick it up.
And what I like what they've done about their business, I think a lot of people eyes are too big for their stomach, especially for that first release, and they just put out some massive thing, or try to, right? And it just like Bold Forms Gladius, right? Just complete. That dude should have started tiny. I understand he had a big dream, right? And I feel bad for the guy, but it was garbage by everybody. But like, if he just started with small stuff, he might have been able to get kinks ironed out, right? And been able to get there. And so I like to see toy brands grow like that. KFC grew. Remember, they started off with like their little Rhinox, which isn't great quality. Yeah. Ramhorn.
Right.
Yeah, the tapes, I mean, there was it was called Eagles or something like that back in 2011, 2012. And it was just renders before it became Keith's Fantasy Club. It was called like Eagles this or Eagles that. And there was like a set of, I want to say, weapons that combined for TFC Superion, and that all kind of spiraled. Yeah, there's like an old set. I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
And it had like the original renders, the CAD drawings for Steeljaw, what became Steeljaw and Ramhorn, like those flip down ones. Yeah.
Like that works well for a lot of like fans toys. Start off with Quake Blast or Quake Wave. I don't know how but that's the exception to the rule. I feel like for most people, like trying to start off too large. But, I mean, the third party companies I miss the most that have gone is Fans Project and Make Toys. And again, Make Toys isn't completely dead yet. I think they're going to have something at TFCon, repaint of something, right? Either of Jazz or Starscream, most likely. I suspect. That's my guess, but I don't know. I have no clue.
It's funny. Another third-party company that's sort of, I don't know if I've seen a third-party company do that. Well, no, I have. I shouldn't say it. Fans Hobby, where they've kind of got two different scales that they're working on right now. They're doing the Unicron Trilogy Primes. So they did Naval Commander, and they've shown renders for Energon Prime. I don't know what his name is going to be. But then they're doing the Headmaster Junior guys too. And you could say, oh, well, they scale together. It's like, yeah, maybe they scale together, but those are two drastically different size toys and price points that you're buying. So I like what they've got going on in terms of I don't know. I feel like Fans Hobby doesn't get as much love as some of the other companies do. And I get Naval Commander had quite a few QC issues, but
Fans Hobby handled it awesomely.
Yeah,
they were like replacement parts for everybody. Our fuck up, and we're gonna make it right. Like, it's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah,
like it's life, right? But they're like, we're gonna fix it. So I think that was awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, they're up there for me in terms of third-party companies and the number of pieces I have of theirs.
I reluctantly buy Fans Hobby. I mean, I think they make good product, although some of the engineering sometimes isn't great. Sometimes it's fine. The aesthetics aren't what I look for, but beggars can't be choosers on a lot of these characters. Like, their G1 stuff is definitely masterpiece scale.
Yeah.
I don't think it's masterpiece quality in a lot of, because, it doesn't have the paint and it's not cartoon aesthetics. A lot of them are just, they're evocative.
The price point's not bad either, though.
The price points are excellent on their stuff.
Yeah.
It's you get what you get, right? It's a trade-off.
Yeah, I mean, they're I would say they're good, solid structure pieces.
They're good toys. Like, I don't disagree. I just don't think they fit in, and I think that's why you don't see the love. Like, they're not going to get the following that Fans Toys has, because they're not straight up what you would expect from a G1 Masterpiece toy. Like, you can put it on there, but it's,
I would just say from a lot of different angles, they're a good company. The products, their rollout, the way they tease out stuff, the customer service that you've talked about. There's, from a lot of different angles, they are handling this far better than what you've seen of other third-party companies. Like, they come off like a real legit actual corporation versus just like, I'm a dude trying to do this in my basement, man, and give me a break. These things will come out. And it's like, all right, I'm going to get my credit card to refund me on that.
Oh, by the way, on that note, do not buy homebrew kits of Masterpiece Beast Wars toys off of a Facebook guy or that has an Etsy shop. That rabbit hole went deep and
got ugly so fast.
I haven't followed up on it since it blew up a few weeks ago. I can't remember, like, there was a lot of stuff in the TFW thread, and it sounded like, tinfoil hat stuff, but it's like, when there's a smoke, there's a fire. And it was just like, too much of this is all lining up with a known scammer who made extremely similar stuff multiple times and keeps moving. And the fact that he at least sent some stuff out this time seems to be better than normal, right? But it was still pretty garbo, which is sad. I want there to be more stuff. Like, if it came out and it was decent for what it was supposed to be, it's not a toy off the factory line, right? It was never going to be. But if it was decent for what it was trying to do, like, I probably would have been like, all right, I'll get in them batch 2, or I'll try to hunt one down. I was ready to go in, but I'm glad I didn't. I feel sorry for cast members Swift and Anna. I think Anna filed her refund in time. I don't know if Swift did or not. He didn't chime in on that. He's probably did in Discord. Probably should check over there, but yeah. I get being excited for Masterpiece Beast Wars, but that went south quick. Stick with people that have put stuff out. Oh man, I want some more from them so bad, but they went silent. They've teased Tigerhawk, and then that's where it's ended. As well as the guys that did the huge Transmetal 2 Megatron.
Yeah.
We haven't heard anything else from them.
It's been like 3 years since we've heard anything from them. Anything new.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you can always throw some slides up at TFCon.
Oh, that would be a fun trip down memory lane. We can get the slides from TFCon. Like, they're all on TFW if nothing else, right?
Yep, they are.
And it's like, what percentage of these never came out? Like, of individual toys, not slides, because some people are like, oh, here's 20 pictures of one thing, right? But, like, of all the things announced, what percentage came out? And how many died? Some of them, like Fans Toy stuff's like, okay, those still might come out, right? Blitzwing might come out one day from Fans Toys. Who knows? It's unlikely, but maybe. But
Trailbreaker. But yeah, there are a lot of smaller companies that like, this is our first offering, a new company that's going to be everyone like looks at each other awkwardly during the presentation like, what is this? The end.
Like that GI Joe Soundwave tank thing. Like I thought that would have been pretty cool, but I never had really high hopes, and I'm glad I didn't get my hopes up because
I want 1/18th scale Transformers to play with my GI Joes and have since I was a wee Destron, you know. But no, you know, if it is going to happen, it's going to be clumsy and poorly done, and ultimately, it's not going to be what I want. So I don't want to get too excited about it ever again.
And I know Christian really got excited for that Unicron trilogy toy. Like I remember the toy, I just can't remember the name. Like a little blue dude, turns into a little tank.
Oh, Scattershot?
Yeah, remember there's a third-party company that was going to do that.
Backpack. Some of us sent. Yeah, that's not coming out.
Yeah, like it's been so long and silent, it's dead.
The thing that's hard with that is just the target market. I mean, it's so small, and especially, you know, for some of that stuff. And I feel like a lot of times they try to price the things almost too low, where it's like they almost need to go the other way and just make it, you know, expensive because like you're not gonna, like your market's not gonna be that big, you know.
Right. But even, I mean, for that one, there was $75 for a masterpiece-sized backpack, and even masterpiece size is only so big when compared to other things, you know, to scale it out properly. So $75 is already right in the ballpark of what it would cost if it weren't being done by a homebrew. And this guy had, I want to say it's like a proven track record, but he had like one kit come out years before. It was the add-on kit for the Roadbuster redeco from Universe of Cybertron Defense Hotshot. Tracking?
Yep.
It's like it was that Target 2-pack.
I have the Head Robots kit for that.
There you go.
Oh no, wait, no, I'm thinking of something else. Anyways.
But yeah, so he had this kit, and it was good, and it came out, and it was, you know, that was years ago. It was like a decade prior, and now he's trying to do this thing, and it was supposed to be the little project that could, and it couldn't.
The fact that Fans Hobby actually got some Unicron trilogy stuff out, I think, is surprising in and of itself, because when Make Toys, one of the definitely like top tier third party companies, did their Armada Starscream, which
Cybertron.
or Galaxy Force Starscream, that was both like a popular character, a cool design, right? And everyone that got hands on that toy talked about how amazing it was. Like it did some really cool crap, some really good engineering and neat stuff. And they canceled it, you know, because they're like, it didn't sell enough. And enough people complained, they was like, okay, we'll go ahead and release it anyways.
Yeah, I was going to say, they ended up releasing it, and then they were supposed to
but
do
it got canceled for that
recolors.
bit. Yeah, but it's like, they could barely make that work. And that's an established company that can take a little risk doing everything else lines up, not some, you know, offshoot little dude, right? That was much less important.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Fans Hobby, for whatever reason, they kind of have that niche of, like, everyone just kind of likes their stuff. Like, they're like the weird stuff company that are, you know, doing the unique characters. And so you're just kind of like, all right, I'm in for it. You know, I'll just.
I feel that
kinda...
however their factory arrangement goes, they can get away with smaller runs and setting the price better than some other ones can. I don't know if that's it's because they own their factory type of thing, like Keith does, you know, or what it is, but just something there lines up where they can get stuff done that other companies can.
Yeah, I know that seemed like that was the case with Make Toys. It's like that they had to make pretty big runs of things in order for it to, like, the economics to work out. So
yeah, we know they didn't own their factory because of other things that happened in relation to them and how it hurt them at the same time. So they definitely don't own it. Owning your own factory's got to be
interesting clarification.
Yeah.
I was going to say, we got some interesting clarification on the whole that topic after last week's show.
I need to go back and catch up on that thread.
Oh, did we?
I followed it for
the thread? Because I quit following it kind of after the.
Like I read it for a couple days, and Then I forgot to follow back up on it. I need to do that.
Do people
I
ever
haven't
talk
tracked
about me
since
on the thread?
Friday. Do what?
Do people ever talk about me on the thread?
No.
What do they say about me? Do they like me?
This was just about Machine Robo.
We like you.
Yeah.
I guess that's fine.
There are some very passionate Machine Robo fans out there, and
There
they gave us some feedback.
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't.
There were a couple people that were actively picking, and it was the same person using different aliases, picking from different locations. Yeah,
But I got referred to as that guy.
they used my name.
There was some, from what I saw, was some not appreciating how much someone didn't appreciate some of the things they had. It was one thing I saw.
That was one of the things. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, I think it got tamped down and cleared.
Yeah.
Rob jumped in and clarified some things, and there were some positive responses, and yep.
Yeah, to be clear, like, we're just chatting.
I'm just sitting there thinking, like, we're being so, like, coy about this whole thing that it's like, anyone who's listening to this is like, what in the heck are you guys talking about?
Somebody said that we said some wrong stuff during the show the other day, and a couple things at least minor stuff we did, and the rest is, I think we make it obvious when we're speculating, right?
Yeah.
And
right.
We're friends chatting about toys.
I feel like
cool to join
usually we try not to actually give misinformation on the show. So if we're not sure, we usually try to preface it and say, like, hey, I'm not 100% sure about this, or whatever the case, may be. So
We also talk over each other all the time, like I'm doing right now. Right. So,
and it's a live podcast. So that's the thing that's what's tough is that, it's easy to sit there after you're like, is you're listening to something and saying, oh, well, obviously, like, it's this, and this. But it's like when you're sitting here having a conversation, you forget and you're like, oh, well, obviously, you know that there should be 6 Wendy's toys, not 5. I mean, who would have known that?
That was the big egregious mistake, is that I said that there were 5 Wendy's toys and not 6. And I'm sorry.
3 Guardians and 3 Renegades.
Yeah. So all my creds
Guardian
out.
Jet, Guardian Car, Guardian Space Shuttle, Renegade Spaceship / Jet, Renegade Helicopter, and Renegade Truck.
There you go. Name them now.
No.
Well, and that's the show.
See, and Peter, this is why you need the actual display from Wendy's from back then, so that way
I know.
You would know.
I've got a Machine Robo hairbrush. It's a pocket hairbrush, and it folds out and has 2 of the characters from it. It has the little Bandai sticker.
That is an oddity.
But I don't know what I'm talking about, so I'll shut up now.
They weren't that mean.
I know. I'm teasing.
So
I'm just shocked to see that Peter is not the most intelligent person on a transforming robot subject matter.
Damn it.
I mean, you're sort of what we all aspire to, Peter, and now that dream is ruined.
I know. I've been toppled. I've been toppled by the guy who the TF Wiki exists specifically because of, to stop his pirate edits and all that stuff. So, whatever.
I like how you're trying to compensate now by getting into Brave. Like, I'm going to learn everything about Brave now, just to say I can know everything about Brave and have all the Brave toys.
So if I know everything about Machine Robo, everything about Brave, everything about GoBots, Mode 2, G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Mask, I'm
Where's your
allowed to
Ninja
slip.
Turtle knowledge, bro?
I don't have any of that.
I mean,
that means reading
go
comics.
crazy
I don't know how to.
here. I mean, come on.
I mean, I think if you get Machine Robo, GoBots, Diaclone, Transformers, and Brave, like, I think that's pretty solid, like, 80s robots. It's like Brave is forgotten about because it's not in the U.S., right? But that is totally where Transformers would have gone if it had stuck around.
Absolutely.
At least in Japan, if it had kept going in Japan only, right? That's literally Takara running with a different line,
Hey, look, here's my Super Megatron figure.
Yeah. And like, I'm sure as a lot of people know, some Transformer stuff was repainted into Brave with remolds and stuff. That's how. That was it. That's where it was going. That's why the late-in Transformer stuff looks like Brave toys, because they're bricks. That's where the designers were. They just swapped the name over the door and kept doing exactly what they were doing.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, and there's fun stuff. I need more shelves.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to get into Brave for like a decade. I have a few things, but
that's
so difficult.
That's where I'm at with Machine Robos. I knew that once I started, it was going to be a problem. I haven't purchased much Transformers, anything vintage for the last. Wait, that's a lie.
But less than normal.
Yeah, less than normal. My budget's been like pretty Machine Robo heavy lately, because I knew that once I pulled that Band-Aid off, it's just gonna be blood everywhere. It's awesome. So much blood.
Delicious blood.
Delicious. We had that conversation. The kids and I had a conversation at dinner the other night about how good blood tastes. Anyway, different. Sorry.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us.
Well, about time I hit the trail.
Oh God, I feel sorry for whoever's rooming with you at TFCon.
Surge.
It won't be for long. Oh fuck, I'm in that room.
Yeah.
Oh wait, fuck, Phil is too.
Yeah, that's the joke. Woo!
Yeah, complete. I mean, like, I've been thinking mostly that I wouldn't be going for a while. Only today it is like, you know what? I think I'm going to go.
Please go. It's going to be.
I want to. It's.
I know. But that circles back to the beginning of the conversation. Is if the dealer room isn't the jam anymore, and people are going to be crying literally, oh, I don't want to be muzzled at the show. How dare you? Yeah, bye. Don't come. That's not me saying that to you. I'm saying for the people that are bitching about, oh, there's going to be a mask mandate.
No, now you get to the part where you tell him not to come.
No. I want him to come.
Okay.
I'm vaxxed. I'm good. I got my card. But I'll wear a mask too. I don't care.
Bingo.
It'll be good. That's gonna be fun. Hopefully, if it happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, we go to see all our smiling faces in person.
It's gonna be.
That's been the main reason I've gone in a long time. Anyways, the rest is just fringe benefits.
I love the fact that the audience all thinks we're in different parts of the country where we're all actually in the same room having this conversation.
We work hard to maintain that.
Yeah.
I
We're all like
think
Daily Show correspondents. Just green screens.
Well, I mean, as you notice, Lucas and I have the same shelves because he's right there.
Yeah.
There
All of a
you
sudden
go.
a cat jumps behind Lucas.
Right. Right. This is the section of Rob's shelves that he hasn't put glass over, so it's where the chunk
Most of
goes.
it I have not put glass over, which I need to do because somebody keeps chewing on everything that's at the base level. Or I catch her before she chews, but she like, you know how the cats do that thing where they rub their face on it, and then she's like, and I'm like, oh, damn it. But
you should take down all your toys and put it all in bins if you can't keep, things hands off of them.
Make sure
Shut
to
up.
only put them in Ziploc bags in the bins. And,
oh yeah, Ziploc bags are great for plastic. They love it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I do, Phil, you are a problem solver though. So there's someone in the Facebook groups that their 3-year-old, I guess, was getting a little handsy with his stuff. And so I guess that he had made the decision to bin it. And I had a similar issue when my kids were younger as well. But I did what Phil did, which was I got child locks for my collection room. And then for the ones that I have upstairs that are not in the room, I got those child locks and like put glass up or whatnot on the shelves so that they couldn't get to those. And then I would also hand them toys so that like they would be occupied not by the high end stuff that
This cat has learned how to open doors. So we have to lock them. She is a very smart kitty. And we have a lock on the pantry, like a child lock thing, and she brute forces it open.
You have a raptor. A
A furry, cute, adorable raptor.
Yeah.
She's the best people cat I've ever had. She is so chill and so wonderful with people. The worst cat I've ever had. Straight up hunts them, like low to the ground at the second she's in a shared space. And I was carrying Yoshi, the big brown cat y'all seen on the show sometimes. I was going to carry him downstairs because you switch rooms a lot when you're trying to get them used to each other to get their smells right? I was carrying him downstairs, thought it'd be fine. And she sees me and leaps up to my chest, and I'm a tall guy, to attack him. And at that point, I was like, okay, we're starting over. And now she's down here in this half of the house for 2 weeks and not going to see the other cats at all. Got to start over. Sorry, cat rant.
Paul says
she's
that we
adorable,
should
but a pain in the ass.
Let the whatever bleed into the podcast, but I feel like we have to explain some of these things because we have these like inside baseball conversations on the podcast that no one listening to it would have any idea what the hell we're talking about.
We're an hour and 40 into this.
Yeah.
If anybody's listening still, they enjoy our bullshit banter, or they're friends of ours.
That's
which
true.
is the same, but
Yeah. True. I just figure if there is someone that's listening and doesn't know what we're talking about, at least that way we can kind of explain some of what we're talking about.
Yep.
So, all right.
Well,
Well,
if you
I
come
don't
to
even know
TFCon,
that we really talked about whatever topic that we have here tonight.
I'm changing collection.
Hey, I don't know. It
we
was
talked
kind of
about Transformers collecting.
It
I mean,
was
it
kind
was
of one of those things where I figured that we just have kind of a fun conversational, show and not necessarily have a firm topic.
like none of us had a topic to suggest, so none of us get to bitch about, oh, this wasn't a good enough topic. Like I put zero thought in, like, hey, be social tonight and talk about toys. Cool.
Does that imply that there's other nights you do put thought into it? Because that's kind of frightening.
We into our topics we do sometimes.
Okay.
Every once in a while.
That's going to be next week's episode, and it's going to be the most popular episode ever, is how do you mingle pets with your collection? I'll take those YouTube dollars right now. Just go ahead, get my boat, toys and cats. Rich. And there's silence.
I like
that on a podcast.
I just
We all
always
hit
try to
mute at
figure
once.
out like Peter's collection that like isn't set up and whatnot, right? So it's like pretty much been the same thing where there's like nothing behind him, but then he just keeps pulling things out that are like, oh hey, like look at this, like, whatever. So like what I'm curious what the other side of what's behind here.
Nope.
That's not happening. Every paycheck, because my room expanded a lot. This is my chug room, my modern room. It expanded by a whole lot. So there's just piles of boxes and totes and things right in front of me. And a lot of it, since the way my brain works, I have like quick access and I know exactly where all of it is. So it's like, oh, this is where this is, and that is where that is, and let's pull it out real quick. This is where Unicron's going to go, is right behind me. It's going to be fine. Everything will be fine. And then over there is where.
You mean Glorious? By fine, you mean Glorious?
Oh, absolutely. There's like a plan, and I have it all drawn up and stuff, and she's on board. So I just have to pay for it. But there are other projects that we have going on, and I have to like move us into the house first. The kids' rooms are done. I guess I gotta work on other rooms before I can play with my room, which is fine. So, yeah.
So
there's gonna be
Unicron, which mode are you displaying him in?
planet mode. But I have the fancy cell or studio cell or whatever one too. So he's gonna be kind of bumbling around, and I've got Galva, Grand Galvatron. This is Unicorn floating around him, and let's see if I can find him, like suspend him, because there's going to be shelves over this, and there's going to be like it's going to be interesting. But I'm going to try and like suspend him, like Grand Galvatron, like floating around. Yeah, exactly. So
Oh,
yeah,
man, that's the perfect place.
use him as a satellite.
But I had no idea where I was going to put this. It's just been on my desk because I'm having any clue. That is a good idea. somewhere with Unicron, preferably suspended. Perfect. Chef Six.
There you go. And on that note, thank you guys for joining me tonight. Book club this week is going to be RID 47 through 49. So that is going to be on the TF Talk Discord at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central. Is that right? I believe so. Same time as all the shows and whatnot. So
Zaldron's two messages were like blurring as I was reading them. Like, book club is 75% off. Wait, what?
I mean, go ahead and end the show. This is just going to be the best outro while you talk.
There you go. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Thanks to Zaldron. Thanks to Catherine. Thanks to Paul. Thanks to Big Daddy Reviews. Thanks to Antoine. Thanks to Ron. Thanks to Daniel. Who else am I missing?
Space Boy G78.
There we go. So
420 Goku XXX.
So there will be a cut the tape this week. I was too tired to put it up last week when I got back from my camping trip with the kids, so it'll be up next week. So there definitely will be an episode for that. So, and then Thursday night we will have our microcasters. I believe we should be doing the ARC this week. So
how did y'all talk about 5 toys in like 42 minutes? I don't understand. I was expecting that episode to be like 4 hours long.
It's I don't know. Like somehow we've actually been a little bit quicker.
They have
not quick by any means, but it's at least not been as stretched out as what it was before. So after 3 years, we're starting to not be
for a whole month, and then it's going to go back.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, join us for the ARC where we'll probably do that and just talk about nothing forever. But so
Fun.
Anyway, apparently Paul says he has something to show us. I don't know what that means.
He means outside the show.
That'll be like another inside baseball thing. So there you go. So all right. Well, thank you guys, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.